This is Anne at the Robb Park Community Garden in Paulsbo, Washington, and I have a 10 by 20 plot here that I want to use to compare the Ruth Stout deep mulch no work gardening method to the Paul Gautschi Back to Eden wood chip method. And I have chicken manure that I've raked in on the left and cottonseed meal on the right. And I'm about to put straw on top of the cottonseed meal and wood chips on top of the chicken manure. So I put the hay, or excuse me, I keep saying hay, it's straw on top of cottonseed meal on the right, and then chicken manure and wood chips on the left. Okay, we have all the rows planted now. We found that the wood chips were much easier to rake and the hay had to be pulled apart by hand and was a lot more labor intensive. We also found that a whole bale of hay on a 10 by 10 plot was about twice too much. So we took about half the bale of hay. You can see it kind of piled up at the back there. So I'll just add that in as it breaks down and compacts, or save it for next year. So we have peas, parsley root, beets, onions, turnips, and Swiss chard, and both sides are planted in a mirror image of each other. So we'll see how it goes. The turnip row has germinated 2 weeks after planting in the wood chips.
Say the date.
It is April 9th. The turnip row in the hay has not germinated at all, and I'm having a lot of trouble with the hay falling into the trenches. I made slug traps, pie pan with beer in it. They are catching some slugs and earwigs as well, but I'm having problems with evaporation, so I'm thinking I'm going to switch to jars of beer instead of the pie pans of beer and bury the jars a little bit. So this is after the second planting. I have a hoop house with some tomatoes and pepper starts inside. Still very poor germination on both sides. I attribute that to not enough nitrogen. I have more chicken manure. Paul Gautschi puts it on top of the wood chips, so that's what I will do as well. I'm also still having very bad slug problems. The slug traps are helping. I have one bean here that is right next to a slug trap, and it's doing okay. And I have one bean right here that is not next to a slug trap and totally eaten to the ground. And here are the tomatoes and peppers. Got the hay side and the wood chip side. The tomato varieties are the same on both sides, or different all the way down though. On the hay side, the only germination I'm getting is the seeds that came in with the straw. And there's a slug. So, and the water retention on this side is not as good as the other side. Underneath the straw directly, it's maintaining moisture even when it's very dry, but in the rows itself, it gets very dusty and dry. It's raining today, so it's fine, but on other days it's been quite dusty and dry. So much better growth after application of the chicken manure. This is a huge spinach. I don't know if you can see the size of that leaf, But the wood chip side is doing pretty good. Still low germination rate, but good growth once things get started. Tomato tunnel is doing great. Needs to be caged. Got some peppers on the wood chip side. On the hay side, I don't yet. Slightly less vegetative growth as well. Not much difference with the tomatoes, though they're both very happy. The hay side is not doing as well. Much smaller, less growth. So still wood chips are winning. And there's also some of this hay weed or straw weed that comes in. But I just pull it up. There's not a whole lot, just a few of them. But overall better with the addition of nitrogen, much better. Borage is huge. Swiss chard is in there. Turnips going great. Squashes. Nasturtiums. Spinach has gone to seed. Time to take that out. Cabbages are looking good. Haven't started cabbaging yet. They're on a good start. Tomatoes are going crazy. Jungle of tomatoes. Even the hay side has taken off. It's a good spinach still. Nasturtiums. Swiss chard. Turnips. So overall, I think next year I'm going to do all wood chips and more chicken manure than I started with last time. Probably doubled the chicken manure. But overall, I'm very pleased with the mulch method. Very little weeding. Didn't have to water as much. And it was very effective. The only problem was with the slugs. Tripled my slug problem. But that drawback, I think, is worth it for the other benefits.